Buddy, I'm Liz Larson, the co-creator, co-developer of the Cognomovement system, along with my friend and the founder of Cognomovement, Bill McKenna. So my topic for today is this. How does Cognomovement, a Cognomovement session or class, create a quantum effect? And why are we talking about this? Well, over the weekend, we shared some images of us setting up for filming with Bill. And what we're doing is creating the Cogno Quantum course so that when people want to watch it, they can come on and just do it whenever they feel like it in their own home, just like our basic training course. But we've had some questions about, what's the difference and what is Cogno Quantum and what is the quantum effect? So I wanted to share this with you today. That Cogno movement itself creates what we're calling a quantum effect. What is quantum? Well, we talk about quantum computing, we talk about quantum shifts. It means what appears like a shift in reality. We talk often about the double slit experiment, which essentially shows that the observer of a matter, of a particle, or in this case it was light, change from a particle to a wave, meaning we change the nature of reality by the way we view it. Another way of saying that is that from our perspective, we perceive reality. We perceive what is on the planet. If you ask me from my perspective that I'm looking at the Facebook camera, that's my reality. That's what I'm doing. But from your perspective, you're not seeing my camera. You're not on this side. Your perspective is that of seeing me across these internet waves, whatever you want to call them, and a viewer. You're not in my place. But if instantly we traded places, that would feel like a quantum shift. Or if immediately I bring you on camera with me, now you're a part of this reality. So realistically, all we're really talking about is the shift in reality as it pertains to you, to your life, and to your perspective. And that's all that really matters. But how does that happen with a Cognomovement session? How is it that a person will have one perspective and one reality coming into a session, and that during that session or immediately after that session, their life seems completely different? Well, that's that quantum effect we're talking about. That's that quantum shift. And practitioners experience this daily with their clients, and people using Cognomovement experience it daily for themselves. So many times we'll have a person working on a relationship in a session, and at the end of that session, they'll receive a call from the other person in the relationship, having everything changed, having the relationship repaired, having an apology, having the thing that the person wanted them to do, them doing. So, what is that? How do we explain that? As it turns out, it goes right back to the nature of reality. We often don't realize how powerful our own perspectives are and our own electromagnetic systems are on the nature of the way things are. So we each contribute to this reality that we are co-creating, meaning if we all live in one town together, we're co-creating the reality for that town. What we think and how we feel ends up in how the town develops. It's just like if you go to a town in the US in the South and you go to a town in the US in the North, they feel and maybe look very different. The people have different attitudes, their realities are different. because they're collectively co-creating with each other. We all interact with our unique perspectives. So when one person in that collective group changes their perspective, it has the potential of changing the perspective of everyone who is connected to them. Now we're back to the how again. So this is the little technical part of Cognomovement. And this is the part that we'll be sharing more in Cogno Quantum so that people can understand how this works. Now the how really doesn't matter when your life is just working better. So we'll go back to the how. The how is this. You have a little electromagnetic battery beating in your chest, right? 24 hours a day. That has a measurable electromagnetic signal. It can be measured outside your body. Now your thoughts can be measured outside your body with an MEG. So we know that we are constantly broadcasting. You know when you walk into a room what that room feels like a lot of times, whether there's just been an argument or whether the people are laughing. You'll know when someone else walks in the room whether or not that person is a match for you in terms of whether you want to be in any kind of a relationship with them, even a conversation, or not. What is that? It's just that electromagnetic signal that we send out. It includes chemicals, pheromones, hormones. That's just basic biology. We know this. Now, combine that with the electromagnetic pattern that creates a belief, a strong thought, a worry, a concern, or a great love. That electromagnetic pattern just runs on your power lines in your body. From your body to your brain, the body has a feeling about it, good, bad, or ugly, a feeling, a reaction. Now that reaction is based on things that you've experienced before, things you've learned. So you have an automatic feeling, and that signals the brain to have a thought. The feeling tells the brain, how are we going to think about this? It's either something good or something bad. We're going to move towards it or away from it. Also, basic biology, limbic system in action. So, if that becomes important to you, sometimes a thought and a feeling passes and who cares? But if it becomes important, it starts to move energy, electricity, hormones, chemicals along your power lines or your nervous system. And that starts to create also a signal, a radio signal, a wave, a pattern that is experienced by you and experienced by those around you. And it holds you and them in that particular perspective. You can't see anything else because it's what you're experiencing. It's your reality. They're interacting with that very specific perspective through your eyes. So here comes the how. Let's say that in your marriage, you're holding your partner as indecisive and inconsiderate. And that is the pattern. You see them leave their shoes on the floor there, inconsiderate. You see them not making the decision about where to go for dinner. They are indecisive. And from your perspective, that is true. The minute that through a Cognomovement session, this is essentially what we're doing, we just break that electromagnetic pattern or we unplug it. We no longer allow it to have the power to run in the system. Just collapses. It's just done. The signal going out that other people are interacting with is instantly gone. The pattern in our body is instantly gone. There is not this constant moving of a vortex of electromagnetic, hormonal, and chemical signals moving out. When that drops and that perspective drops, there's nothing to match to it anymore. See, this is the thing that most of us don't understand about manifesting. We simply are projecting patterns all day long, thought, mind, physical, mental, sending out a signal, and we're just simply finding a match. See, this is the interesting thing about our brain. We are constantly looking for things that match our own opinions. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's a thing too. When we believe something, when we feel something strongly enough, our brain is constantly looking for validation that that is true. And we will find in our spouse or in the person we're in a relationship with validation that they are inconsiderate or that they are messy or indecisive. As soon as that pattern is collapsed, our brain isn't looking for that match anymore. And here's the quantum effect. It becomes no longer true from our perspective, from our reality. It really is simple biology, physiology, and physics. But more than that, it really is that we turn off the brain's ability to match something that we no longer want. Now, conversely, when we're talking about manifesting, we can reinstall, well, first clearing out what we don't want and then put in what we do and create an electromagnetic hormonal chemical signal for the thing that really lights us up without any of the concern, without any of the worry. And now our brain and our body starts looking for a match to that. What's strange and what feels like the quantum effect is all of a sudden, boom, it appears right there. The truth is it's probably been there all along because some part of your mind was thinking about it. But the other part was resisting it, knowing that it's probably not going to work out. Maybe it's not for us. It didn't work out before. So the brain and the body simply ignore what's right there. We call it in the field, but it really is right in your vicinity, simply because it's looking for a match to the pattern that is stronger. So you might really want your spouse to be more decisive and less of a slob, but the pattern that is stronger is that they are indecisive and they are a slob. So you're going to keep matching that instead of what you believe you want is for them to seem more decisive and contribute more to cleaning up. The truth is they probably do and you don't notice it, but also that strong sensation of holding them in that space, they just keep repeating the pattern that you're in with them. Remember that matter, physical matter, proven through science, changes with the observer. When two people are observing, it changes again. So when you change your perspective through your electromagnetic hormonal system, you literally change the matter around you. And that is the quantum effect that Cognomovement produces. We now have that ability to turn those on and turn them off immediately, keeping in mind that they're nothing more than a perspective. We get kind of strange when we talk about manifesting and reaching out and asking the universe, begging for something to come, when realistically we automatically have the ability to match anything that we choose. Really, anything that's the strongest in our own electromagnetic signal. Again, because that's the thing our brain's going to find a match for. Remember the old adage, if you believe it, you'll see it? It really is true, and yet there's a piece that's always been missing. It's the feeling part, because remember I said it's the feeling in the body that really dictates what we think about something. If you've ever had a paradigm shift where maybe there was somebody that you worked with or went to school with that you really thought was a jerk, you really didn't like them, you had a big opinion about them, until by some strange circumstance you got to know them. and you realize, oh my gosh, they're a great person. I had this opinion about them because I didn't really know. Once you know, that change in the body, the feeling about them changes, and you start to recognize what a value they are in your life. Where before that, you would have said, they're a jerk. I don't want anything to do with them. You may have told all over town what a terrible person they were. That's called a paradigm shift. But what's really shifted is the belief in the body, the feeling about them that triggers that thought to the mind. So this can happen with literally anything that there is. And you can start to recognize what's already right around you that you've always wanted that you just couldn't see before. And that's the quantum effect of Cognomovement. Now, Cognoquantum, what is that? That's the next layer. That happens after you've already cleared out with Cognomovement everything that is holding you in the place where you are. Now, many times you may not even know what you truly want until you're able to clear out what you don't want or what's holding you in place. Keep in mind, this is not really anyone's fault. It's just a match to things you have experienced in the past. But if you're astute enough to recognize this isn't what I want, this isn't the way I want it to be, and now you have the tool of Cognomovement that you can remove that. Once you do, what you truly want emerges, or what feels so much better emerges. And now you have a clear path to creating that. So Cognoquantum, the next step, it's a magnifier for what is wanted in a life, because it takes into account the next piece, not just this piece going on in the body, but this piece, what's happening around you. You see, we start to fill our own field of potential, 6 to 8 feet, or 20 to 40 if you're a psychopath or a movie star or politician. We start to fill this space around us with these electromagnetic fields. We sometimes refer to them as a timeline because nothing happens in a vacuum. If this particular event, person, belief, thing happens, there is a life that goes with that. When that is collapsed or deleted, the eventuality, all the things that go with it also change immediately. Just like we were talking about, if you didn't like that person and now you do, they become a part of your experience and they become a part of your greater overall life. Your timeline has changed. A timeline where they weren't in your life, and now a timeline where there are, which has very expansive potential. So we begin to work in that field. What's actually there that is sending out a signal to people, places, things, opinions, money, that will become a match? Now we just simply work in that field with that electromagnetic hormonal chemical signal that has started to build, accumulate. These electromagnetic signals in the body, the stronger they are, the stronger the signal. You know, imagine it like a radio signal, a radio tower. Your favorite radio station, maybe it's channel 3, sends a strong enough signal out that you can receive it in your car on channel 3. Now, if your favorite radio signal is channel 5 and you're listening to channel 3, you're never going to hear it, even though it's right here. So Cognoquantum helps with that. It helps with that tuning process to make sure that what is in your field and building, accumulating, getting ready to create a match is exactly what you want. That's all. It's almost like taking out the trash, clearing the echoes of old signals that had accumulated that you just don't really need or want anymore, and replacing them, and then adding to creating an accumulation of the signal that you do want. Now, that may sound complicated, but it really is the nature of how we are. We send and receive signals all the time. We do it with our phone, we do it with our TV, we do it with radios, and we do it with our body. We've always done it with our body. Think about this. When you're a baby and you wake up in the night, so oftentimes the baby's eyes open and so do the mom's. How does that happen? How does the mom know the baby's eyes just opened? The signal, the field. We become very attuned. How do we know in the middle of the night that there's something wrong with our pet? Or how does our pet know that there's something wrong with us? It's just our field. We interact with each other all the time. And now in the new technology age, we're doing it with electronics. But it started with our physicality. So now with Cogno Quantum, we're simply utilizing what we already know is happening physically and just repeating here in the field. You see, you can actually reach out and feel those things in your field. They have mass, they have matter. Your electrical system is that thing that's in your field. So you can feel it, you can experience it, you can actually even witness the timeline that goes along with it, that the life that goes along with that decision or that opinion or that person. And you can decide, do I like it or don't I? And you can change it simply by changing the field within the body that repeats in this overall field and then is matched in the larger field. So I hope that this has helped and not confused you more. But the thing that I'd like for you to take away with you is this. You can change the signal that you send out in the world, and you can change your perspective in any given moment, and that will change what's happening in your life. That's the quantum effect. Beyond that, it changes what happens in the people around you because they're interacting with you. You're one side of the give and take. It immediately changes when you change. Cogno Quantum is the step beyond, and you can now have a greater effect in your field and also adjust and change and choose the signals and the things that you want in your future. We're having people change things immediately, things manifesting within minutes. They're really not, though. They were always there. The person now just recognized it. That's it. That's what happens. It's like somebody just pulls back the curtain. Do you remember the game show where they would pull back the curtain on the prize you just won? That's what it feels like, and it's actually very much like that in reality. So there's many things happening at Cognomovement that you can be a part of. One, you can get with a practitioner, have your own session, and work on the things that you want to work on for yourself. Two, there are classes on Cognomovement. Basic training is one. You can do this for yourself. Pretty soon, Cogno Quantum will be there as well. You can learn how to do it and do it for yourself. You can take a class. We have a 5-week manifesting class coming up. It's a couple of hours or an hour a week where you get to focus on those things, and we'll help you do it along the way. You can have an extensive private coaching if you have something big that needs to be changed and then manifested in your life. So there's all kinds of availability. There's also the free Cogno Hour on Thursday night where you can get a taste of what we're talking about. We are effectively talking about changing your time-space reality by changing the pattern in your nervous system. That's it. And changing the way that pattern interacts with the rest of the world. We'd love to have you be a part of this movement. Please reach out to us at cognomovement.com or email us at info@cognomovement.com. We'll talk to you guys all again really soon. And if you're experiencing a quantum shift, a quantum timeline jump, or massive change in your life with Cognomovement, or even minor, please share that story with us. Send it in as a little video or write about it to us. Everybody else would love to hear what's happening in your life as well. Again, I'm Liz Larson with the Cognomovement Systems. We'll talk to you really soon.